Can you guys hear me okay? I'll start desktop sharing. Okay, can you see the desktop? Let's see, who's here? Daniel, Kang, Mega, welcome. Tonight, we're just going to kind of wrap up, and we'll entertain questions if we would like to. Are there any general questions before we start? Okay. How's the team project progressing? One team has turned theirs in. Very good. Sure. What is it, Kenny? Well, include what they have. For the one that hasn't done anything, just whatever you assigned them, put their name by it, and say it's missing. You know, on the first page, let's see, where was that? I guess I'll put the infrared. I don't think any of you are doing the infrared. So when you on your opener page, put their name, what they were assigned to, and just put missing. So I'll know when I'm reading through it. And if all they have is a little bit, whatever they have is what you turn in. It's not much you can do if they don't do it. Okay? It won't affect your grade, because it'll certainly affect theirs. Very good. Any other questions about the team project? Oh yes, Mega, they did, and I told him to do something like pick a deliverable and give me about 6 or 7 pages on that. So I took care of them. And I'll grade them separate from yours. I don't like doing that, but I don't have a choice. That's correct. What I would do, though, just so I remember, it would be good to remind me. Why don't you do this, Mega? Whatever he was assigned to, just say turned in separately. Okay? That way I'll remind myself to look at his. Oh, he was never assigned anything. Oh, don't worry then. I'm not sure how to handle that. You could do this. Let's do this. Unassigned, and put his name there, and did separate. Something like that, just to remind me. No, Kang, don't do that. Turn them into you. Whatever they've got, turn them into you. I did this special case. I not want to do more special cases. Whatever they have is what they get. Why would I want it? You turn it, have them turn it into you, and it should be a compiled, complete project. If they have 5 words, put those 5 words in. Okay? And you'd be surprised what you get. You need to tell them a deadline of getting stuff to you guys, because you want to assemble it into a project, maybe change some of the wording formats a little bit. You know, I don't know if you worked on a singular document or you worked on many different documents. But I'd like to see it as a complete unit of work. Good evening, Albert. Okay, if that's how, did everybody agree to that? Okay, well, if they agreed to it, then I think that that's the case. Good evening, Karen. Any other questions about the project? We're on item 1. Albert, Karen, you guys are okay, right? Good. I understand that. Okay, I'm going to move on. Unless you have questions, we can always come back if you do something comes up. All work must be submitted by Sunday, 11:55. I'm not going to accept anything after that. The special programming extra credit, zip it up and submit it by the 25th. Final exam. We went over all of your questions on Tuesday. Were there any questions on those that we need to relook at? Okay. I wanted to tell you how many questions were from each chapter. So there's 44 questions. Chapter 1 has 2, 2 has 2, 3 has 3, 4 has 4, 5 has 5. Look at how neat that was. But 6 has 3, 7 has 4, 8 has 4, 9 has 4, 10, 3, 4, 2, 2, 2. And I kept these low because you didn't see them. So I kept a low number here rather than have it 3 and 4s. Because this will be the first time you're seeing these 6 questions. By the way, these came from last year's final. So they're from questions from the students of last year. Okay, let's see, where else am I? Oh, on the final, let's review this. You could get there a little earlier. No, you can't, Meg. I'm sorry. Special programming, extra credit you wrote. Oh, I did that. Campus Tuesday, area B or D, I'm not sure which. Mary should be there at 6. Or if you emailed me Wednesday, I have 4 people now for Wednesday. Don't forget to bring a photo ID. Create an account if you don't have one. No book, so you can't use the book. 1-page handwritten notes are okay. 1 blank piece of paper is okay. No internet browsing. Only can use Canvas, and you can use the computer's calculator. So that's what you have available to you. And of course your knowledge of what we've talked about this quarter. The questions are pretty much straightforward. The only one I saw, Karen, did you do that Excel spreadsheet? Yeah, I looked at it. I looked at the numbers yesterday, and it was fine. Those are good. Okay. I'm thinking now. I think that's all about the final that you need to really know. You're really just coming in with 2 sheets of paper, basically. Oh, you can't have any of the questions on your handwritten notes. That would be cheating. And you're probably asking, well, how can I look at through the discussion on Canvas? And my answer is I'm going to delete those Monday. So no, you can't. Oh yes. Oh yes. If you want to handwrite all the slides, you can do that. You can handwrite anything from the book, our notes, everything, but you can't have the questions and the answers on there. Okay? Oh, don't forget, we're going to do the CC Confer as soon as I go through this little command scripting stuff. Don't forget to do the survey to earn 10 points. I checked it. It's open Monday, and it closes on, I believe, Tuesday at night. Gee. I always like to check things because I'm running 2 classes and it's really 28th. That kind of worries me. I thought I opened it for Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, Monday. And actually closes, looks like Wednesday. Yeah, it closes Wednesday. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to do the thing. The reason it's 0 points is because it's extra credit. Okay. So that answered that question. Command language scripting of your operating system. it's really a way of interfacing with the computer, right? And a lot of it became language-like based. And let me think a second. I was doing something here. If I lose you, let's see. It might flash. No, it didn't. That's good. No, that's not the one I was looking for. Yeah, that's not the one I want. Let's try it again. Might be this one. Well, it sure doesn't look like it's starting. Try one more time. Oh, there it is. It is starting, just slow. Okay. I started playing with this, and I told you, I believe I told you that whenever I wanted to learn a programming language, I would write the same program, and that's this one. It's Mastermind. So it kind of will stretch you to understand how the interface works. And that's why you'd want to do something like that. And this is VBA. It's actual Visual Basic and kind of C looking. It's got this. So some of this stuff is, oh, .NET, I'm sorry. It's C#. It's C++. It's not VB, but it looks a lot like VB. Okay, well that's one command language that's pretty sophisticated. I'm going to take you through some of the others. Unix has shells. Have you guys written shells in Unix? Yes, good. Very good. And then DOS and Windows, you can use batch files. I believe I showed you some of those. Now this takes me back to many years ago. MVS used TSO, time sharing option, and this became the fundamental on the mainframe. Then IBM came out with their virtual machine. So they used their PL1 language called PLM for scripting, and once again I wrote my games in this to learn this one. JavaScript, same thing, but it's VBA-like scripting for HTML, so that's a scripting language. My favorite, because of its simplicity, was something called Interact. What happened was, on the DOS machine, on mainframe, it was 370 running DOS, not OS. And it had one partition set up for this product called Interact. And this is how you would interface with the computer to submit jobs and stuff. But it had power of a little programming language. And it was based on, in the 1970s, I would think 74, 75, this guy named Wilbur developed this language, and the company Interact bought the rights from Stanford to use it as a product. That was back in the 70s on the mainframe. And the language had, it'd be nice for me to plug in. I disconnected my computer. I'm glad that message came up. It had variables that you could use. It had 10 integers. So you could have I0 through I9 as the names of the integers. And they were actually those names, I0 through I9. And then decimals, D. You could have 10 D1s through D9. You could have strings, S1 through S9. And each string could have a maximum of 256 bytes each. But with this, you can do almost anything because it had copies. It had opening files. You could open a file. You could copy. You could find something, point to something in that line. You can use if-then-else's, a go-to. It had screen output and input simple data. And this is what I built my, don't know if it was in this class or the other, my Visual Basic class I was explaining this. It was a cost accounting. Did I tell you about the cost accounting project? Not yet. Well, I was a senior programmer analyst about this time frame. I think it was like in the mid-1980s. And we had a manufacturing, I was in Syntex Pharmaceutical, and they had a need for cost accounting. I was doing the finance, I was supporting the finance division, and HR was in that division, and so was cost accounting and finance. So they needed a new system, and we wrote a new system for them, and I spent probably almost half a year on developing their online programs. And I put this new concept of using Interact and allowed the users to use this product. Normally programmers would, but I set it up so that the user could submit their own jobs, run their own jobs, get their own printouts, set up the parameters to the program, and submit the program. And that took probably a couple of months to write that stuff in Interact. And then for my fun, between the time I finished work about 6 to when I went to school, because I went to school at San Jose State for almost 3 years in the evening. So I had this block of time, right? And I took this Interact and made games out of it. One of the games I made was the Battleship game, where you had two blocks, right? You'd have the computer's block of ships, and then you'd have the user's block of ships. So this program allowed you to print out on the terminal things like that, so you format it and stuff. And the tough part was, let's say you had 5 subs. The 5 subs had to be contiguous, okay? So that you could have 5 subs, 4 destroyers, 3 cruisers, 2 battleships, and an aircraft carrier. And then you would guess, it would prompt the user for guessing in the computer space, which it doesn't know, if there's a ship there, and if it is, it shows an S at that location. And then, you know, a person would go around to find the other S's. The computer did the same thing on the user setup. You know, of course, I could have cheated and looked into the user square because we're saving them there. But all of that was done in this one little product with these little capabilities. It was fun. Okay, so let's look at this is the last CC Confer. I still have the listing, the listing of that program, and I used the concept of a decision tree. So I had all the rules about what squares each of the ships could have that's valid, and I read that. And that's how I was able to edit the thing. Couldn't have done it any other way. But anyway, the listing was about an inch thick. Okay. What did Art say was his fun man language? Yes, Mega, it is. So this is the answer. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Before I leave this power thing, oh, I got to enable it. That's right. I have to issue some commands here to enable scripting. They really locked this thing down because it's so powerful. And I didn't finish the program. As you can see, I'm still working on it. But that's how you kind of, figure out what's going on. This was my original 1985 format. Okay. Right. Questions from you guys? Oh, sure. Okay, so I've got my Word document. The default is Calibri 11, and I'm not a fan of 1.1 spacing, so I usually go to single line spacing. Okay. So that, well, it still didn't do it. I guess I should put a 1 line. No, like that. I do like single. And there's some other place too I remember for this. It's been a while since I've done this. Oh, there it is. Yeah, yeah, you got it. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't see it. And now, yeah, that's fine. You know, to me. Certainly not double spacing. Borders, margins, normal's fine. Normal's fine. Yeah, I think that's good. And you might have some, you know, bolded ones, you know, larger headings or something. That's fine. And you'll have diagrams. Let's see what this one was. Yeah, that looks... Oh, it's hard to tell because it's in a PDF. Yeah, that looks to be about what I was saying. And I think he has a little larger one here. So something like this would be very good. I mean, I'm not going to be crazy about this unless I see that it's double spaced and the margins are really tiny. That would be very, very suspicious. Any other questions? Yeah, that would be okay. As long as you use single spacing. Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be okay. Just type something. I just want to see what it looks like. It's been a long time. Looks fine to me. Okay. I would like probably all the references to be on the very last page so I can see them all at once. But if you can't do that, then having it at the end of each section is fine. Okay? I think the example I showed you, they had... No, I don't need that. Let's look at theirs for a second. I don't recall how they did theirs. So it looks like each section they had a reference. Yeah, no, I don't see any references for this section. Maybe they had them all at the end. No, I guess they put them all at the end. These were the references they used. Not a lot of references. I would expect a little bit more. No, no, no. Indentation. Well, if you did something like this, right? I'd probably be concerned if a lot of stuff was there. But no, no. Standard tab's fine. They're 5. They're set to 5. But if I were going to do that, I'd probably use the indents, right, rather than the tabs. But that's up to you and how you want to do it. Let's look at this one again. See, they've got things like they've got bullets. That looks good to me. That looks good. And it looks like one nice document, which is what I was looking for. And it makes it easier for me to read and understand. Any other questions about the format? Oh, I do want one document. The team that turned it in, everybody submitted the same one. I don't want that. That'll confuse me. I just want the leaders to turn in the assignment, okay? Let's look at ours. So I'm expecting, yeah, Team 1, they all turned them in. And that really threw me. But Team 2, I was expecting Robin. Team 3, Mega. Kang from that team. And Patricia. So I'm just expecting one document from the leaders. On this, what I'm going to do is I'll just take Neil's. Oops. Any other questions? Okay. So, anybody worrying about getting your account early? I remember the last time we had a conversation about this. You said that perhaps you could go in ahead of time and get your account set up. Okay, very good. Thanks, Mega. Yeah, I thought they opened early, but somebody said last time when we were on session that they locked the door. I didn't quite understand that. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, they reserved it for me because I usually, well, there are no free stations. Well, they would have to put you in a section, B or D section. So if somebody's in there doing something, I know that I have it scheduled. I do that at the beginning of the quarter. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, great, Megan. That's nice to know. Huh. Well, I hope it's not going to be too painful. And you don't have to worry. I mean, you guys should be able to answer those 44 questions in 45 minutes. The only one that's going to take longer is Karen's question. It took me 5 minutes to figure out the calculations. Wait a minute. Oh, the extra credit, yeah, it's going to take a little time. I would say anywhere between 10 minutes and 20 minutes maybe. There's only 7 questions. One of them you're going to get right away. Oh, by the way, you should do the extra credit because there's one question on there that you can't miss. Okay? That's a hint to you guys. Kang, that would be up to Mary. I would think so if you just left your papers and stuff. I can't control that for you, Kang. Mary will. Yeah, when you see the questions, you'll recognize them right away because there's stuff that we've talked about. There's one on the safe state. Remember, you're going from a safe to an unsafe state. Oh, I really need to help. I'm glad you brought that up because I have this one question that's going to be kind of strange to explain. I have, let's see, how am I going to illustrate this to you? I have steps. So first I have a setup. The setup. A is executing. I have one process. I have one processor. So A is executing. B is ready. C is waiting. D is suspended waiting. All right. So that's the setup. Let me move this up a little bit. So these actions took place. The first action is the running process requests service. Number 2. So now who's executing? So you have to keep a list. You'll have to keep a list of each of these as where they are. So you might want to have a executing. That was A. Waiting. We just have B right now. Oh, ready. Sorry, ready. We have B right now. Waiting with blocked is C. Suspended wait is D. And I think there's one more. I think I've got another process, but I don't remember. But this is just a demo anyway of how it would work. The running process requests service. So now you take A off and you put it with C, A there, and you put B in because you got to have somebody there running. Okay. The suspended, this must be suspended ready. all suspended ready processes are returned to ready. Now what would happen would be, okay, D would go to ready. See, another one might be, the next action might be the oldest waiting process is completed. So that would mean, this is A, that would mean that it's DA, and it's processed round robin. Oh, yeah, right. I typed it wrong. Thank you. Okay, that's the next thing. The executing process is finished. So now we know B is gone. And since we're doing round robin scheduling, D would be there. C would be there. Okay. And step 5 is the executing process needs service. So it's going to be a wait. It's going to go into a wait state. So it's behind D. And we'll put C there. And I have other steps, okay? You just take the steps. And then finally you'll choose from the answers. It would be something like executing would be C. Ready would be nothing. Waiting would be A, comma, B. That would be one example. Another one is executing could be B. Ready could be A, C. Waiting could be D, C, etc. Something like that. And you would choose which one is correct. After all the steps are completed. That's correct. Yeah, it's one of my fun questions because it requires you to keep track of what's going on and what the state transitions are. Yes, all of my are. It's exactly the same as the regular test. It's all multiple choice. That's why you should do it even if you don't know the answer, right? If you're running out of time, answer all the questions. You may get, what, 1 in 5, 20% probability you'll get it right. That's pretty good odds. Better than lotto. Okay. Let me think. Well, let me go through the rest of in my mind with you guys, the rest of the optional. Oh, a monitor question, right? So you're going to have a little monitor diagram, and then you're going to take the steps that the rules tell you. You know, process A just entered through E1 or E2, and then you take it all the way down, and each instance there's going to be a number of processes in the wait queue, and you give me that number. So there's the problem. So we have and you've seen these before, so it's not going to be a surprise to you. Oh, and then I've got a matching one. Match the word with its meaning. That's on virtual storage stuff. So you've got a virtual storage matching problem. You've got a process state transition, which I showed you, question. You've got a safe, unsafe state question. And you've got one you can't miss. And I can't remember what the others are right now. But you've seen the likes of them. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, then what I plan to do, 12, 14. Yes, they are. Well, you're welcome. Well, wait a minute. They could be from 2 years ago. I don't remember when I pulled them out. They came from a previous test. So they could have been 2017. They could have been 2016. They could have been 2015. So I can't remember which year I pulled them from. I'm sorry. I thought they were last year, but I could be wrong, so I don't want to say it's exactly from last year. Yeah. Okay. All right. So are you guys all set? Very good. Well, I want to say just a few things. I want to thank you all for your participation. For you guys that are here online, made the course much more interesting and interactive. And for those students that couldn't come online, watching the recordings was the key to passing the class, I think. Good. I hope you guys, picked up at least a few of the basic concepts and are feeling a little bit better about working with operating systems. Yeah, we did it. I certainly hope so, Mega. I agree that it's kind of going under the covers, right? You hardly ever look under the covers. What you look at is what you see, which is the applications running. You see them running and you learn how to work the applications, but you don't really have an appreciation for what's underneath the covers that makes this all work. And there are so many interesting issues inside that operating system concept. That's right, now you do. Peeled back the onion, right, and looked inside. Well, guys, I want you to enjoy your weekend. Get that stuff done. If you have any homeworks you want to get done, got to get them done by Sunday. And then I'm really looking forward to reading your projects. I've held off reading project 1 because I want to read all 5 projects at one time. That's how I can kind of gauge how you guys are doing it overall. I think that's it in terms of what we need to do for our class tonight. So I sincerely thank you, and you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget the final on Tuesday or Wednesday, what you're scheduled for. And I hope you enjoy your next classes at the ANZA. You're all quite welcome. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and you have the survey for 10 points. Thank you, guys. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed this class with you. Yeah, sure, Vega, of course. Do you want it recorded? Okay. Let me close on these guys. Albert, Daniel, Kang, do you have any last minute? All good. Okay, they all left, so I'm going to turn off the recording, right? Okay. I have to leave to get to the recorder.